Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, June 8th, and you know what that means. It is time for the High Risk Wrestling Podcast. I am your host, anointed by our tribal chief, Jeremy Pierce. Welcome, one and all. And you know you can catch me out on the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations 52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And today's show, the Ballad of Liv Morgan. She is on a roll right now, enjoying probably the best run of her career, and it's just getting started. So we're just gonna, take a look at where she started, where she was, and where she's going. It's going to be fun, but for now, you know what's next. So just go on and hit my music. All right. So with Liv being your current women's world champion, there are a couple dream opponents I would definitely like for her to face. Nothing crazy, nothing outlandish, but there will be maybe a surprise or two on this list. And we start with number 5, Fallon Henley. Now, I picked her because I kind of feel like she's one of the ultimate baby faces on NXT, and Liv could kind of maybe bully her just a little bit just to see where she ranks. I mean, you still have Soroka, you still have Lyra, Valkyria, but they're all involved in something right now. But Fallon kind of just gets the people going, and they really support her. So Liv kind of taking some anger out on her would be really fun. Number 4, Ivy Now, the pit bull of the women's roster. Ivy Now is small in stature, but she is no one to mess with. Strong, just as strong as some of the other powerhouses on the roster. Ivy Now doesn't like bullies, and she would be one to stand up to Liv Morgan. Ivy may see a character change. I'm thinking maybe, possibly, but it's going to be really fun just to see kind of them two get involved with each other, and it'll be a really interesting match and an interesting dynamic. Number 3, Raquel Rodriguez, Liv Morgan's former tag team partner, is currently out with an injury, but there is history there, and the best matches, the best stories always come from the history you have with your opponent, and these two are former tag team partners. They are former tag team champions. So there is that where Raquel thinks maybe Liv is losing her mind. Liv's like, no, I'm just telling the truth. But again, it's a good dynamic in the small in stature Liv with the powerhouse that is Raquel. So how would Liv overcome Raquel? Number 2, Lyra Valkyria. This is another one that's kind of very obvious especially when we get to number 1. But Liv is the one who took out Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is the one who's been mentoring Lyra Valkyria. Lyra wants revenge for her mentor. It's very simple. And Lyra, she's had some issues with Liv, and Liv has no problem standing up to Lyra. This match is definitely going to happen. I for sure can see a title match between them two. I'm surprised they aren't fighting at Clash at the Castle, but Lyra and Liv is something that's going to happen as long as Liv is the world champion. Of course, number 1, Rhea Ripley, mommy, the leader of the Judgment Day. Yeah, she's the leader. Is currently out with injury due to Liv Morgan, but we all know the story. We're going to talk about it a lot more later on the show. But Rhea Ripley, when she returns, the pop is going to be insane. And mind you, remember this, Rhea is the heel in this feud. Liv has done nothing wrong, and I am begging and pleading for a Liv Morgan win over Rhea Ripley just to really solidify Liv's championship reign before, she and Rhea turn it up a notch. But this is the match in the feud that we all want to see. We just have to wait. We'll be right back. The spotlight is back on, and it is shining on one Lyra Valkyria. This Irish-born superstar is only 27 and has already made waves in the WWE, going from NXT UK to NXT to the main roster. She has made a name for herself. And Lyra, is the future of this business. They have, meaning the WWE, has some faith in her, attaching herself to Becky Lynch, making it to the Queen of the Ring finals. She has done a lot, and there's more in store for her with the abundance of women they have. There's got to be certain people that will stand above others, and I believe it will be Lyra Valkyria. She is definitely going to be one to watch, and I think her first real test will come in the vein of our current women's world champion, Liv Morgan. Lyra, yeah, she's different, but different is good, and I think as she keeps getting better and better, we'll see much more from her. Got to get a little bit better on the mic, but the in-ring ability is there, the skill is there, but we'll see what's next for Miss Valkyria. Hell, maybe next year she'll even win Queen of the Ring. We'll be right back. All right, our women's world champion, one Liv Morgan. She has made a name for herself and is currently enjoying a high of highs right now. She is the women's world champion. She is carrying out her revenge tour, trying to take everything away from the woman who put her on the shelf, Rhea Ripley, but we'll get into that. Liv is a special case. She was discovered just at a gym in Jersey, and she signed a development contract, right? 2014. So now she's in NXT, right? And her first appearance was as a Planet fan who jumped on Tyler Breeze. Then she showed up at Unstoppable as part of Tyler Breeze's interest. You got to go back and check out the early days of NXT. It's really a sight to behold. At one point, she worked under the name Marley and was a jobber and lost to Eva Marie, a woman who should be far away from professional wrestling. But Liv worked in the developmentory, and NXT, for all intents and purposes, has been a great boon for the WWE, training some of the top stars today. If you go and look at just the current women's roster on Raw, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 of their women started NXT. Now, some have history before NXT, working in other companies like Kyrie Singh, like we know Kyrie, but Kyrie also went through NXT. That's amazing, and we see the benefits of NXT. If you just look at the WWE main roster, most of their people right now came through NXT. That's crazy. So NXT has been a really good help, and it has helped someone like Liv Morgan. So she goes through NXT, and she's, kind of just around. Been in battle royals, doesn't really have a great story going along, but got a couple title matches here and there, beginning rivalries against the iconic duo, or the Iconics, known as Billie Kay and Peyton Royce. And it was just fine. She was making a name for herself. She really didn't become more until she made it to the main roster. So she debuted on the main roster in 2017 alongside Ruby Riott and Sarah Logan. They were collectively known as the Riott Squad, and to this day, these three women are still the best of friends. They love each other so much. You can see it, and you can feel it. So they show up on the main roster and immediately make a name for themselves, attacking Becky Lynch and attacking Naomi. So they're heels, right? Then, not only that, they interrupt a match between Charlotte and Natalya, attack them both. They call themselves the Riott Squad. They keep attacking people, and Then with the attack happening, I think someone cashed in, or I think the Iconics were the ones who attacked Charlotte and someone cashed in, but they were the Riot Squad and they were just a nuisance. They were a nuisance on the main roster, participating in the Royal Rumble, participating in WrestleMania, the Women's Battle Royal, but they really didn't do much. It's so crazy to think that as an established team, they never won the tag team championships. That's crazy. So as we moved to the Riot Squad, they were moved to Raw, and as part of the shakeup, they caused a match between Bayley and Sasha in a no contest, and they were a part of the all-women's pay-per-view Evolution, losing to Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha. Now, I get it, it's Natalya, Bayley, and Sasha, but the Riot Squad were a bona fide team. They work together. They are family, and I never like when teams that are thrown together defeat teams that are just teams. They work together. They know each other's ins and outs. But they participated in the Royal Rumble. They participated in the Elimination Chamber match. Liv participated alongside her tag team partner Sarah Logan to fight in the Elimination Chamber for the inaugural Women's Tag Team Championships, but they lost. But the match was won by Bayley and Sasha Banks. And Liv competed in another Women's Battle Royal, which was won by Carmella. So the Riot Squad didn't do much, and that was really a failure on the WWE's part. Like, why would you not do more with them? They are a solid team. They were unique. They were different, and there should have been more for them to do. They should have been given more to do. But then we get the brand switches. Liv was moved to SmackDown as part of the Superstar shakeup, pretty much dissolving the Riot Squad, leaving Ruby and Sarah Logan to fend for themselves. So now Liv is a face over on SmackDown, confronting Charlotte, and I love this. I remember this, her coming out and saying, "I want you, Charlotte." Now we all know the LOL, Charlotte wins. Whatever feud Charlotte's in, she's probably going to win. But Liv just needed to stand up and say, "I am here. Do not forget about me." Then she was moved back to Raw as Miss Irrelevant, the final pick in the draft, and there were vignettes promoting her return, and she got involved. This was the weird part. Remember the Bobby Lashley Lana storyline where Lana was cucking Miro with Lashley, and then Liv shows up and professes her love for Lana? It was weird, and I don't really know what they were going for, but it led to a feud in a tag team. It was weird. It was they always wanted to find a way to keep Lana and Miro apart, which was stupid. But Morgan won the feud, and then it was just over. So then she returned to Ruby Riott, who ended up turning on her because Ruby was like, "You left me, you got moved away, you just completely forgot about me," which in all essence they really didn't. But I get what the story they're telling. And Sarah Logan was brought in as a special guest referee for this feud. It was crazy. It was crazy that WWE loves taking teams apart, and it was just stupid. But she goes and faces an Elimination Chamber, which was won by Shane. This was the WrestleMania. This was Pandemic Mania. She competed in a pre-show feud with Natalya. Then she kept fighting Ruby, and then loses to Natalya, and it's back and forth, fighting with the Iconics. And it was just, she kind of seemed lost throughout all of this. It's like WWE really has a hard time making storylines with women that don't involve being catty with each other, that doesn't involve making a tag team just to split them apart. And the Riot Squad was disbanded a second time when Ruby was released. So now Liv is the last woman standing just lost. But something started to change. So she competes in Money in the Bank, right? She competes in the Money in the Bank ladder match. This was, what year was that? I think it was 2021. She didn't win. She competed in Extreme Rules and fought Carmella. So now she's doing something, right? She's moving along. She's in the draft now. She's going back and forth between Raw and SmackDown now. She's on Raw, and she fought in the Queen's Crown tournament, which ended up becoming the what we now know as the Queen of the Ring tournament, but she lost to Carmella. But what we have here is growth, right? So she earns a Raw Women's Championship match and faces Becky Lynch. She lost, but she looked good in defeat. She got a rematch at day one and lost again, but it's okay because we see the growth that she has now, right? She's in the Royal Rumble. She's doing well for herself. She ends up teaming with Rhea Ripley, and they challenge for the tag team championships at WrestleMania, which they didn't win. That tag team with Rhea Ripley came out of like left field. Y'all remember Rhea? Remember, Rhea was a tag team champion with Nikki Cross. That felt weird. So Liv is here. She's in a tag team with Rhea. They lose to Sasha and Naomi, and then Rhea turns on Liv. That was their first. Remember that she turns on Liv. So then Liv, AJ, and Finn lose to the Judgment Day team of Edge, Damian Priest, and Rhea Ripley, but we know where that ends up going. But then 2022 comes along, and it all starts to come together for Liv Morgan. She qualifies for Money in the Bank, right? And not only that, she won the Money in the Bank ladder match. And later that night, after Ronda Rousey successfully retained, I think Ronda retained. I'm almost sure Ronda retained. Ronda retains, defeats Natalya by submission. Liv Morgan comes and cashes in and wins the SmackDown Women's Championship. Good. So now they have faith. When someone wins the Money in the Bank, they have faith in you to be a champion, to carry the load. And she ends up winning again, retaining against Ronda at SummerSlam. Now, there was some controversy here, but Liv tapped out, and the ref counted 3 with the shoulders down, giving the pinfall to Liv. So Ronda attacked the ref. Ronda attacked Liv. In that Clash of the Castle, Liv retained again, this time defeating Shayna Baszler. So they've given Liv big wins against 2 of the very best. Ronda wins an elimination match, earning a rematch at Extreme Rules. And they have an Extreme Rules match which Ronda accepts, and they win. Ronda wins the match. This was Extreme Rules 2022 in Philadelphia. I was there. It's a really good show. And even though Liv's reign was up, it was important. She did a lot there. And we saw the growth, the tremendous growth that she had. Then we get to the Royal Rumble in 2023. She enters at number 2 and lasts over 1 hour. And she's the last one eliminated. Who eliminated her? Number 1, Rhea Ripley. Liv and Rhea have set the record for the most time in the Royal Rumble, and I don't think it's yet to be broken. So Rhea turned on Liv a couple years ago and then eliminates her from the Royal Rumble. So there is history there. It's good. It's getting good for her. She's in the Elimination Chamber and she loses. And she's in a tag team showcase that was won by Ronda and Shayna at WrestleMania. And then they go on to Liv and Raquel go on to defeat the Damage Control to become the number one contenders for the women's tag team titles, which were held at that time by Lita and Becky Lynch. And they win. So it's all coming together for Liv Morgan, and they retain again. And then they had to vacate the titles because Liv got injured. So an injury bug started hitting Liv Morgan, and she returned. And guess what? They win the belts again. So things are looking up for Liv and Raquel, but then they lose to Sonya and Chelsea Green. But we see that it's all coming together. It's all coming together, and this is where things take a turn. So, on the June 17th episode of Raw 2023, Liv and Raquel lose the women's tag team titles to Sonya and Chelsea Green, right? Due to Rhea Ripley attacking them backstage before the match ending their second reign. The following week, Liv was supposed to face Rhea, but the match never happened because Rhea attacked Liv with a steel chair. Liv was injured again, so now Liv was put on the shelf for 6 months. She returns at the Royal Rumble, enters at number 30, and loses as the runner-up. She got some eliminations, but it's okay. She gets eliminated by Becky Lynch. On the Raw after WrestleMania, Liv attacked Rhea. And Rhea ended up getting injured during this attack. Rhea is forced to vacate the Raw Women's Championship. And Morgan's like, well, she put me on the shelf. How am I the bad guy? And she's taunting and she's goading Rhea. And she sets up the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour. Liv wants the championship. Not only that, she wants to take everything from Rhea Ripley. And Liv, for the longest of times, has been the runner-up. And of course, when she ends up facing Becky let's rewind. They have a battle royal to determine the new women's champion. Liv loses, so she's the runner-up again. Ends up getting a title match at Queen and King of the Ring against Becky Lynch and wins thanks to Dominic Mysterio, which Dom wasn't trying to do. She then retains against Becky in a steel cage match thanks to Dominic Mysterio. And here we are today. Liv coming out and saying not only that she wanted to take the women's championship Rhea, which she now has, she wants to take everything from Rhea Ripley. We see Liv talking to members of the Judgment Day backstage, and she is outwardly coming for Dom. She wants to take Dom from Rhea. This is where we're at now. Victories over Becky Lynch, women's champion, confident, top of her game. This is beautiful, beautiful stuff. I'm excited to see where we go with Liv Morgan because the money is there. Rhea Ripley, the money is there, and I'm looking at a potential feud with Lyra Valkyria whenever Becky Lynch comes back. There's that. Like, we're going to get the money. We're going to get all of it. Liv is on a roll. She is killing it. Just keep it up. Don't falter her. Don't falter her. Keep up the pace. Keep up the good work. And make sure you get the job done. Liv is something special. Make it work. Okay? Just make it work. The Liv Morgan revenge tour is far from over. Because we got to wait till mommy comes back. But that is the Ballad of Liv Morgan. And look, her career is far from over. There's so much more to be done for her. I'm excited. What say you? But that is the show. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Coming up, we got a couple of lists next week. TNA WWE matches we want to see. We got a Clash of the Castle preview. We got more lists. We got a Let's Talk About It. Of course, a Flashback Friday. Things are looking good for the month of June. As always, check out the socials, Charismatic Creations on Facebook and YouTube, Charismatic_Creations52 on Instagram, and of course the 215 on Twitter. And as always, Isla Dawn Bailey, Anna J, DG Dolan, Willow Nightingale, and Chris Statlander. Holla at your boy. Peace.